Hey gamers, welcome back to the Part-Time Gamers Club, where we do gaming part-time.
Start all over.
Sorry.
Yeah. I started
I
off
heard
rough.
that momentary of the stop.
Uh-huh.
I knew he was gonna stop.
All right. All right.
Can't remember his own bars.
Yeah. It's not that I don't remember them. I fucked up and I was like, fuck. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey gamers, welcome to the Part-Time Gamers Club, where we game part-time, but support gaming all the time. For those of you tuning back in, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. And if it's your first time here, welcome to the crew. I'm Gio. Alongside me is Gerard and Mike. And on today's episode, we're going to be discussing the Amazon show called Secret Levels. Let's get to it.
Welcome back, gamers. So, as Gio mentioned, we're talking about Secret Levels, and for those who don't know, it's a new show being put out. That's an anthology. It's basically just a mixture of multiple different franchises combined together to tell one whole story. Either like one person going through multiple different genres or layers, or some genres that have been influencing in the one game. If you think of a game or like the story of Dante's Inferno, good example. Anyway, I wanted to ask a question right as we started because I know Secret Levels is being produced by the same people that made another anthology series that Gio has watched. I'm assuming you watched the entire series for Love, Death, plus Robots.
Mhm.
Mike has watched an episode. I have seen nothing of it. So what should I expect from Secret Levels going in? Because I don't know any of the art style, and more importantly, I don't know how it's going to welcome us. Because this is made, or like the entire thing of Secret Level is based on different video game franchises or games that are very popular in the mainstream, or that has a lot of Sony and Microsoft influence.
Yeah. So for Love, Death, Robots, it's kind of so you drop in every episode. You drop it into a new. The art styles, believe it or not, in that if they do the same element, which I think they will because games are obviously different styles and stuff for artwork. Uh, all the episodes are different style of artwork. Some really high CGI on some of them, animation style. I really enjoyed the series of Left Death Robots, and it was just drop you off in a random spot. You don't know what's going on. You kind of just gotta figure it out as it's happening, and it's a short. Each episode is probably like anywhere from I think 10 to 15 minutes. Maybe the longest one maybe was like 20 minutes. So it was kind of just like random moments happening in a random world in a random person's life story mode. But it was really intriguing. Some of the episodes, I would say, really drew you in. I liked a good amount of them for sure. That's why I kept. I think I've watched every season so far. There's 3 seasons I've watched. So I love Death Robots. It had really good acting and stuff like that, and it was really good. Like I said, animation, CGI, storytelling. But it is very short, and it kind of leaves you like, damn. I kind of wish to see what happens beyond that. But I think the good thing is with the gaming universe, you kind of if you play the games, you know the game. So I think it's a little better with that. But like in Love, Death, Robots, you kind of have no closure. So that's the only thing I would say that kind of drove me insane because each episode, no episode connected
We're
at
talking
all.
about Secret Level. What
Yeah.
is transferring over? What should I expect from Secret Level? Not what is Love, Death, and Robots. What should I expect from
Yeah,
Secret Level?
but I'm trying to explain to you if they're doing it and it's the
Okay.
same producers behind it,
Okay.
that's how they approached Love, Death, Robots. So
Okay.
if Secret Level is going to be based off that similarity, you're just going to be dropped in a random moment in the world of the game. You're going to experience whatever moment they're trying to portray in that episode of that game. So I don't know where they're going to lead off, where they're going to take inspiration from each game per se. So that's it's going to be interesting. But like, just to give you an idea, don't expect much closure if you don't know the game, because there's not going to be a second episode to any of them
Okay.
if they
Yes.
do it the same way.
So it's like different layers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yes. And
Dropping into different layer part of the games.
Correct. It's different moments of the game at any point in the game.
now here's the thing that we've seen is, and from a list that I've looked on found online, or Mike has found online as well. There's about 15 games supposedly for this anthology series. Maybe more than 15. There's a whole bunch of smaller PlayStation Studio acquirements.
Well, it's inspired the 15 stories in season 1, so those are the 15 games.
Yeah.
Well,
so
that are listed that we will mention.
the question is there 15 episodes? Because season ones usually are either they go through the arcane thing with their 9 episodes, or they do the standard 12 or 13 like anime series. Though American series usually go to 24. 15 is a very weird number to have, and it's in between those like weird or like, I don't want to say anthology, I want to say like those long series. So do we expect each game to be its own episode? If so, what about the smaller ones? Because this video game series some of them are just not well known. So a good example is Concord or Crossfire. They're not very well known. Some of them are newer, like Concord, while some of them are very old, like Crossfire. These are games that if you're going to make an entire episode on, maybe if they're 12 minutes, it makes sense. But if you're doing 15 episodes in 12 minutes, and you're trying to have a series, especially with seasons like this, what's the point of it? Like, what's the point of showing very little of an obscure game?
I mean, if it's like what Gio says with the Love, Death Plus Robot, where it's like jumping into the story and the story is like 12 minutes. Even if we don't know a particular game, because I only seen one episode of the Love, Death Robot, and it was visually appealing. I did like it. I just had a lot of other shows to watch, so I never really got around to finishing it. But if it was like that, I wouldn't mind that in this case if they just make it 15 to 20 minutes. And I don't know how you would want to combine stories. It just doesn't make sense combining 2 inspired games in one episode if you're not gonna. So I could see the 15 episode. Usually most series that I've seen is usually 16 to 20, but why keep it with the norm? Why keep it like that? Just be different. I wouldn't mind the 15 episode only, and then however long the story or the creativity that they want to expire, or how long they want to make it, to go to 12 to 15 minutes, whatever the case may be, or they want to do the generic 30 minutes, then maybe some people may not be into a certain episode, but I don't know. I like to just keep it consistent, and if that's what they expire into games, because I don't know, I don't think we have said all the 15 games that have expired on the episode, so I don't know if you want to say that.
I think we could just post it, but
say it anyway.
Go ahead if you want.
All right. Well, I mean, so the games that are going to be on the inspired at least is Armored Core, Concord I already mentioned, Crossfire I already mentioned, Dungeons and Dragons, Exodus, Honor of Kings, Mega Man, New World Ethereum, Pac-Man, Sifu, Splunky, The Outer Worlds, Unreal Tournament, Warhammer 40K, and PlayStation as a whole, basically, like some PlayStation Studio games.
So I think, all right, so like you were asking before, what is the purpose of that style of show, right? I think with the video game world, it kind of makes better sense because, like I told you, with Left 4 Dead, we didn't get no closure. There was no. I couldn't continue the story I was just learning about in that 12-minute, 15-minute episode. In this, if I want to learn more about that game, I can go play the game. So I think there's some appeal to that, and it might bring attention to some of these games, and it's a kind of a good, uh, I guess, idea or tactic to maybe draw new audiences to the game. But I don't think they're going to go that 30-minute route because in anthology, there's got to be, it's going to be quick little moments of a random moment in the game. It's going to be, I promise you, no more than 12 to 15 minutes, if maybe tops 20. I think that was some of the rare longer episodes were maybe like 18 minutes. I think it definitely will be at least 15 episodes because the length of each episode is not going to be that long. So it makes sense for it to be 15 episodes. And it's something you can go through pretty fast. You can binge watch that really fast because it's not like watching a normal series. So I think there has some appeal to it, and I think it will be good to see that interpretation and style. I think that gives them a lot of freedom on how they want to style the episode and design it based around the game and influence each episode. But I think it's intriguing for people that might want to get a glimpse of what that world of that game is without having to necessarily try the game. But it might influence somebody to try the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when I look at the list, I'm thinking like, how did they come up with these games?
Mm-hmm.
It could have been
I
any
know.
15 game. Okay,
No,
go
I
ahead.
know.
I mean,
they're all Sony and or Microsoft games.
or Amazon New World.
Yeah, they're all big publisher games.
But there's still other games within the same. Like,
they're all three of them are made by the same companies.
Mm-hmm.
They're all
but
made
it's
by
other games.
either Sony,
Okay.
Amazon, or Microsoft. And those are all three American companies on Amazon Prime.
Well, Sony's not American.
Sony's not American, but there's Sony American Studios. They have a headquarters.
Yeah,
as well.
but
they have. I'm pretty sure these are like all three of them collectively came together, and like maybe Amazon is the one that pitched the idea to Microsoft and Sony, but they definitely all like, hey, we make a video game about our games, project those. Conspiracy. Anyway, I need my tinfoil hat. But anyway, like the 15 games, very prominent. There's two things I disagree with you, Gio, and like I agree with everything you said besides the two things. One, and it's very the first one is very like short. Don't think I won't binge an hour and 30-minute episodes, right? You don't know my life. I've spent 2 days binging Fallout. All right,
Me too.
I'll go sleepless, mother-fucker. I'll go sleep. You don't know me.
People don't. I binge hour-long episodes too. I just think that doesn't fit the anthology style.
But here's the second thing. All right, and this is my thought. I think the anthology style. I don't know anything about it. I haven't seen an anthology style, but I think increasing it to 20 minutes doesn't break that style, because 20-minute shows is the same thing that animes do, like One Piece and Naruto and Bleach. There's a little bit of an opening, like majority of them are around 25 minutes. You have an opener and then you have a closer that takes up like a minute and a half each, so that's like 3 minutes already. So you have 20 minutes and then you have exposition. So animes are already in that 20-minute border, and they get already a lot off. And there are already shows that are like slice of life, but every episode is not connected by a main plot. They're random. So I do think Love, Death, and Robots works well maybe with 15 minutes, but there's nothing that's stopping them from doing a 20-minute episode. Now, those extra 5 minutes may be used for things like exposition in that own world. Because when you're playing with a little bit extra time and you have the funding of Amazon, Sony, and Microsoft, you can get away with a lot more things. So maybe it's not going to be 1-to-1 in that regard, because I do see them benefiting from the little bit extra screen time, especially for something that's going to be on Amazon Prime, which I'm pretty sure, I don't know how Amazon Prime makes, or not Prime, Amazon videos make money, but I do think maybe they get a little bit more money if it's longer rather than it's shorter.
I wanted to point something out because I feel like if we don't, that's kind of a big no-no.
Mm.
Twilight Zone is often considered one of the all-time great anthologies, and I had to think about it. I wanted to say that earlier, but I was like, let me make sure Twilight Zone was actually considered an anthology, and it is. And those episodes were 24 to 25 minutes.
It wasn't called an anthology.
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
why when you mentioned it, I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I could see that.
Those episodes were 24 to 25 minutes, so they could possibly do that approach with the video games because maybe they want to tell some more like story in it.
I will say, the caveat with Twilight Zone is that it was designed and made for TV, while this is designed to be streamed. So there's that caveat as well. So like, to make TV shows, it costs money as well, yes, but you already had a slot in, and then you're getting paid by the channel. In this case, Amazon is the one hosting it, and you're getting paid for it, but there's no guarantee that people will pick it up. The channel kind of pre-buys seasons on television. So,
I think they're going to do, it seems like they're already pushing the marketing aspect. They want this to be successful, for sure. You got to think Microsoft, Sony, all the big names behind it. This is some sort of marketing strategy tactic behind this, I feel like, for video games in general.
And here's a question that I want to pose to both of you. And I'm going to start off with Mike, because Mike is probably the one who's seen less of them. How many video game movies have you watched?
Oh, wait, what?
Exactly. Video game movies. How many video game movies have you watched, Mike?
That's originate from video games?
Sure. We can also, I'll also give you a bone. It could be about video games.
I mean,
we did a ranking.
Did we? Yeah, did we? God, now you're gonna make me have to remember all this again.
No, I don't need you to rank them. I just need you to tell me which ones you've watched. Apparently, the list is very short because you can't even remember. I can think of 3 off the bat.
No, there was only like 1 or 2 on the listing that we did of like top 10 that he see. I was the one that saw all of them. There was 1 or 2 that you didn't see. Well,
what, the Ready Player One? That was about a video game, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
it's about video gaming.
Yeah.
I would even consider movies like Wreck-It Ralph about video games. I want you to know.
Did you see the Wreck-It Ralph movies, Mike?
Yes.
Okay. Thank
like
God.
super like there's I'm like I don't know why it's taking so long. Like there's Super Mario, there's the Sonic movie, there's also the World of Warcraft
movie.
There's a Dungeons
the Street Fighters, there's the
like there's a whole bunch of games, there's a whole bunch of movies. Are you telling me you've never seen any of them? You can't think of any on the spot? Can't think.
My memory is shoddy. I'm getting old, man.
But the reason why I bring this up, the reason I bring this up is because like recently a lot of movies about video games, not like deriving from video games, but about video games, has been getting more traction. We have Ready Player One, which is a book made in that, like it was just a movie about the book, but the book was still about that video game kind of lifestyle and things like that. We also have other books that were made about games as a whole, like Hunger Games, Ender Games, which are 2 different franchises. Want that to be known. And that, like, gaming as itself, as an idea, as a plot device into stories in any media, both like literature and entertainment, has always been a like hit or miss kind of philosophy or genre. So this anthology season, I enjoy it. I love the aspect of it, but in my mind, it still it plays that hard. It's like, is this going to be a hit or is this going to be a miss? Because there's not all video game shows, movies, or things like that are popular, either because, and this is a very good critique, it's because they don't hit the fan base that is loving to those franchises, or they don't go heavy enough into the video game aspect of it. So what are your guys' thoughts on like franchises or even media portraying video games that kind of put a negative light on it?
I was going to say something because the way you phrased all that, I brought something to my mind. because you said like the video game movies.
Yep.
What about if this is actually a strategy or tactic? Now, for instance,
I'm gonna say no, but continue. Wait,
go
let me
ahead.
get my aluminum foil hat out.
Yeah. All right. What about this is a strategy or tactic to see which video games episodes perform better to then turn that into a series or potential movie? Because what I'm thinking is they might use the analytics of seeing how long people stay tuned into that episode, how many people watch this episode over that one. Because if we're talking about you're gonna have your fans, your Gears of War fans, or sorry, God of War fans, stuff like that. You're gonna have your Armored Core fans. They go, oh man, you got to see that episode that they did. It's not a whole series; it's just one episode. You got to watch 2024. Oh, that was cool, man. You know what I mean? Just kind of get a feel for it and say, oh, well, maybe we should invest in this game and giving it an adaptation, a full adaptation. Now, I'm just throwing it out there. It's a conspiracy, whatever you want to think. I'm just thinking that would be an interesting tactic. They don't invest too much money in one 24-minute episode or 20-minute episode, but you get a feel for the fan base and what the audience is attracted to.
I don't think that's their intention or their tactics. To be honest, it plays an interesting.
But
It
but
is interesting, but
you just got to ask though, because like, why did they go to anthology?
Yes, and I agree with that. Here's my thought though, and this is gonna play off what I asked because my like negativity is going to play into this. Like there's hit or misses and things like that, and anthology means that you can get hit or misses between episodes. This is the most expensive survey that they can make, man. They could just send this out as an email. Like Sony, Amazon, Microsoft could just send it to people who are already registered to their accounts. Like Sony has so many PlayStation people who have to make accounts to play games like through the PSN. Amazon, you already signed up for Amazon Prime if you're watching it in the first place. Or Microsoft has all the Xbox and Microsoft people, or the Xbox Live people. They could literally, they already have your email. They'll just send you a survey. Like, can you take 5 minutes to which of these games would you like to see a series? Press here or here for Armored Core or God of War or things like that. This is the most expensive thing they could have done.
yeah, because they already have a baseline on those games already.
I got it. But if you look at the titles, they're not your biggest games either, per se. They're not your big headline titles that you would expect to want to see something for.
They made a movie about Pac-Man already.
No.
It wasn't a good
I know
movie, but
Pac-Man.
continue.
You proved my point there, but no, that
If
probably.
anything, that episo's gonna fail hard. Continue.
No, but maybe it might make a good TV adaptation. It just wasn't a good movie idea. But that's I just thought about it because you said streaming service. So much easier to streamline that and break it down to the analytics because you think about like YouTube and stuff like that, how we're able to look at stuff like that. So I was just curious that maybe that's an idea, maybe that's a tactic. I'm not saying that's the whole purpose for them creating it, but I feel like they might use that to potentially create future shows, movies. You know, use it as somewhat of a baseline because maybe maybe they'll add another episode dedicated to that game and see how it does. If that's another high producing episode, then maybe we should do something with this game.
I guess there'll be a season 2 because then they'll probably another high expensive survey.
Another expensive survey.
Well,
Another expensive
bro,
season 2
bro,
survey.
if you see Love, Death, Robots, the animation is so high end. That ain't cheap, bro. That ain't cheap.
That's why we're
So-
saying it's an expensive survey. It's an expensive.
Clearly, they're willing to invest in it. But I said
They're
it's
investing in
24
because-
minutes. It's
I think it's
24 minutes
opposite.
for each of those publishers and developers to invest in.
I think-
It's not that much to them.
I think it's opposite of what you think. I don't think.
Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just saying
I
it's
don't
an
think
idea.
they're putting out things to figure out what to make a series off. I think they're putting the anthology together because they can't think of a way to put these stories into longer episodes or longer series, and then decided, hey, instead of making an hour-long movie or like 12 episodes of this series, we can just make a 20-minute episode of this because we don't know how we would fit in, or there's too many creative freedoms that we don't have and we would want. So like instead, just like we'll do the, I don't want to say minimalist approach, but like definitely that bare minimum standard of just like, instead of making an Armored Core movie, we'll hit the Armored Core fans with an episode. Things like that. Because that way they can still feed that, like, I don't want to say give a little bit of a taste, but also not fully commit or spend money into something. Because if they lose out and that episode doesn't do great, guess what? They just lost a little bit of money compared to making an entire series that might fail.
But yeah, exactly. But you just kind of proved my point.
But
though.
they
Like,
won't. No,
what
even if it
what
does
about the
successful,
fan base goes like, yeah. What about the fan base gets really behind that episode? We want more. We want more episodes of Armored Core. We want more of Armored Core.
they won't. That's what I'm saying. Like if they,
You never know.
well, that's what Sony has always literally have been told. Like, hey, why don't you make another Final Fantasy movie? And they go like, we won't do that. It's too much money, and we honestly would rather use that money to make other Final Fantasy games rather than make a movie, because movies are short-lived and will be loved forever, but a video game you can maintain, you can make people keep buying stuff for it. They're easier to not easier to manufacture. Video game companies are easier to maintain and control than a media is, like movies and music as well.
Just throwing it out there. I don't know. What do you think, Mike?
I don't think I could see it where, yes, I could see your point, and like maybe they just throw it out there and see how it does for each episode, and then maybe expand on it, spin off maybe. I don't know, whatever the case may be. But and Gerard's saying it's a high expensive survey because I don't think that the point of them doing this is to get more to expand on it. I think they like the idea of the whole concept of a storyline going into each episode of different games that people may like. I think that's their motive, and if something comes out of that, and they see a trend or they see something, well, maybe this is something. It's a bonus, it's a luxury. Maybe they can expand on it, but I don't think it's their motivation.
No, I agree. I don't think it's that was the whole idea of creating it. I'm just saying, what about if that is a tactic behind it?
But like also, here's
I get what you're
thing.
saying though. I just think it might be a tactic behind it.
These
a little idea.
These are not thoughts of. I can't say much because I don't know much about like the trailer was only like a minute and a half to 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's a teaser, basically.
So we don't know the way that the main character, if there is a main character, travels between each game. If he just drops in, like in Love, Death, and Robots, you said they just drop in the episode, or if there's actually a method of transportation that takes him to each game. We also don't know if there is a main storyline that converses through every single episode, or if each episode has its own plot device. So there's too much to go on to say for sure that each episode would be standalone, or if each episode is testing waters. Because again, unless it's about that story, or we're like, my thoughts are it's in the universe, it's not going to share like maybe main characters. Maybe like an example is like if we see God of War and we see Kratos, that makes sense. But if we are in like God of War and we don't see Kratos, we're just in the universe of God of War, then that doesn't really put a lot of emphasis on the game. Instead, it just plays in that universe, which in that point, it's not like, hey, I want you to be interested in this game. It's more like, the God of War people, the God of War fans, the video game fans that love God of War, know what the universe is and can enjoy that. Even if it's a single episode, that's great. Hopefully, and what my thoughts are, I don't hope that they mix games in episodes. That shouldn't be the case because it's an anthology series, so each episode should be the thing. But we don't know yet, so.
So in other words, we need to see more.
Yes. There needs to be more.
You said something that was kind of intriguing to me, though. Like a main protagonist that goes through every game storyline. That was interesting to me because that it would be different from Love Death Robots because, like I said, you drop in and you're in it's a different character, it's a different world. It's not connected in any
Yes.
way.
Got it.
So that's why I said I felt like you don't get any closure in those episodes. So there's no connection. But that would be an interesting approach if they did that. I would be really intrigued if they went that route.
Because I know anthology series are not designed, like Twilight Zone is a good example of this. They're not designed to connect to one another. However, they are designed to pay heed. It's like to previous either seasons or things like that. Something that would have never connected before it would connect. Like, oh, this is in the same universe because this is here and that was in that other episode. So that's kind of funny a connection. Then you relate to things like that. But
getting into the multiverse.
No, the multiverse
I'd say that Marvel
is a
shit.
different thing. But like, it's one of those things where like, will they connect it through a single person? Because like in the video game world, or in this video game and like scenario, you could have a character who's just a player who gets dropped into video games that he plays, and then he gets dropped in the randomness and doesn't know what to do. But that happens just frequently to him. So he just take a main character and put him into a world that you love that's a video game, and he has to fulfill whatever he's put there to do. And that's still an anthology series. It just has a consistent plot line of a person. Now, we don't need to know why he's put there, but that would be a good thing to know. Maybe that is the entire point. He's like, I'm jumping from video game to video game and I don't know why, or I don't know what the hell's going on. Or if they do the Love, Death, and Robots, each one would be its own episode and things like that with their own main characters. And that's perfectly fine as well.
I kind of hope they go the other route, though. Because that was the only one thing I didn't like about Love, Death. Because I'm like, can one of them freaking connect? I want some kind of closure connection.
I think
Gio needs closure.
He needs closure. He needs some finalized.
I can't
Well,
do it.
I will say this. As someone who watches a lot of anime, please don't watch Slice of Life. Those are 100. You'll hate those 100%. Those are the ones I talked about. Just like every episode's like not connected because none of them.
That would drive me nuts. Me nuts.
Some of them are even like 3 different arcs in a single episode. So,
no, but
it's great.
I look forward to it because I like the video game aspect they're doing with it, and it's intriguing.
I'll do this. I'll watch the first episode and then the second episode, and if they don't connect, I'll just wait for the Armored Core episode to come out.
That's my concern too, though. Like, what happens if that happens? That's why I said what I said about a tactic about like what game attracts the biggest audience? What episode? You know what I mean?
I mean, but also I don't know how Amazon gets money.
Why did they pick the games? No, it's not a tactic.
It's not a tactic.
No, it's not a tactic. I can't.
So, does anyone have any final? Mike, do you have any final concerns or questions?
Because Gio needs closure.
Yeah, I was like, Gio doesn't. I'm not gonna let Gio get closure. We're gonna torture him right now. Torture.
It's interesting. Right. I'll add it to my list of shows that I have that I need to watch.
Mike has a lot of shows to watch. Don't worry. I also have a lot of things to watch too. All right, Gio. What do you have to say?
Close it off, Gio. Get your own closure right
now. I know you want to say something.
I was going to just look forward to it. It's in December. Watch it, especially mine's behind Love, Death, and Robots, so I'm excited for it.
All right.
He loves it, but he watched all the seasons, but no closure. So
no closure. He likes to be edged.
I said that was the one thing I didn't like. I liked it, but I didn't like that. And that's why I said when you said what you said about maybe one main protagonist that goes through it, I was like, oh, okay, that'd be cool. I could live with that.
The line in the trailer is, "This is your story," so it could be talking about one protagonist. Anyway. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below, and I would like to hear your thoughts on Secret Level and Anthology as a whole. And if you agree with Gio on one main protagonist, or just every episode being different, or if for whatever reason this is the most expensive survey there has ever been made. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Later.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Part-Time Gamers podcast. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And follow us on our other social platforms on TikTok, Instagram, and Discord. Links for those will be provided in the description. Thank you again. We will see you on the next episode of the podcast. And make sure you make some time for video games. Peace.